What if you're not actually unhappy with your life? What if you have just become really good at noticing everything that's missing from it? Think about it. You wake up, and before you have even gotten out of bed, your mind is already somewhere else. What you need to do, what you don't have, what hasn't happened yet, what someone said, what someone didn't say, where you thought you did be by now. And somehow, even when something good happens, your mind quickly moves on to the next thing that's missing. So you tell yourself, I'll be finally happy when things change. But what if happiness wasn't never waiting for you on the other side of all of that? What if you have been training your mind every single day to look for what's wrong, and you have simply forgotten how to notice what's right? And no, I'm not telling you to pretend everything is okay. I'm talking about something much deeper, because you can be going through a difficult season and still experience peace. You can be disappointed and still experience gratitude. You can be uncertain about your future and still be completely present in your life. So today I want to explore something with you. Are you actually unhappy with your life? Or have you developed a habit of looking for reasons to be unhappy? Think about your attention like a muscle. Whatever you repeatedly give your attention to becomes easier for your mind to find. If you spend your days looking for what's wrong, you'll become very good at finding what's wrong. And if you're constantly comparing your life to someone else, you will always find evidence that you are behind. If you're constantly thinking about what someone did to you, you'll keep experiencing that moment long after it happened. And this is where I think we need to be more conscious, because sometimes you're not unhappy because our life contains nothing beautiful. We are unhappy because we have become so familiar with looking for what's missing that we barely notice what's already here. Think about your own life. How often do you notice the things that are going right? And how quickly do you notice the one thing that isn't? Someone can love you in 10 different ways, and you can spend the entire day thinking about the one thing they didn't do. You can have an incredible day, and one small inconvenience can suddenly become the story you tell yourself about the whole day. So ask yourself, what am I training myself to notice? Because your attention is shaping your experience. And I want to make something very clear. This isn't about positive thinking at all. I'm not asking you to look at something painful and say everything is amazing. No, if something hurts, acknowledge that it hurts. If you're disappointed, allow yourself to be disappointed. And if you're going through a difficult season, you don't have to dress it up in positivity. Awareness isn't pretending. Awareness is being able to see the whole picture. You can say this is difficult, and also this is not all that exists. You can say I don't know what's going to happen and still say I am here. I'm breathing and I'm present. I'll meet what comes. That's a very different kind of strength, because peace doesn't always come from changing the circumstances. Sometimes it comes from no longer fighting the fact that the circumstances are what they are. And there's another habit that quietly destroys our happiness: expectation. We have these invisible scripts of how people should behave, and when reality doesn't follow our script, we suffer. Not always because what actually happened, but because what happened was different from what we thought should happen. Think about how many arguments, disappointments, and resentments begin with one sentence: they shouldn't have done that. But people are going to be people. They're going to make mistakes. They're going to disappoint you. Sometimes they'll misunderstand you. Sometimes they'll leave. Sometimes they'll love you imperfectly. And sometimes you will also do the same. Acceptance doesn't mean saying what they did was okay. Acceptance means this is what happened. Now, what do I choose to do with it? That question gives your power back to you. Because when you're constantly fighting reality, you don't have much energy left to live. You're replaying conversations, rewiring the past, imagining different outcomes, wondering why someone didn't choose differently, why something didn't happen sooner, why life didn't go as you planned. And sometimes the freedom you're looking for isn't in changing the past, it's in finally allowing the past to be the past. You don't have to approve of everything that happened. You don't have to understand everything. You don't even have to know what happens next. But you can stop arguing with reality. And from that space, you can choose again. That's where inner freedom begins. I don't think the answer is to try harder to be happy. I think the answer is to become more aware because most of the time we are not actually present for our lives. We are thinking about what happened yesterday, what might happen tomorrow, what someone said, what we should have done, what we need to fix, what we are still waiting for. And while our mind is everywhere else, life is happening here. So maybe the practice isn't how do I make myself happier? Maybe the practice is simply can I come back? Can I come back to this moment? Come back to what is actually happening. Start noticing. Notice the way sunlight enters the room. Notice the conversation you're having instead of planning what you're going to say next. Notice how you feel before you judge the feeling. Notice when you're rushing. Notice when you're comparing. Notice when you're creating a story about something that hasn't even happened. And especially notice the moments when you catch yourself thinking, I will be happy when. That's your invitation to come back, not to give up on what you want, not to stop growing, not to convince yourself that everything is perfect. Just to remember this moment doesn't need to be perfect for you to be present for it. There was never a moment when your life was waiting to begin. You were already living it. You just weren't always there to experience it. Maybe happiness isn't about creating a life where nothing ever goes wrong, because that life doesn't exist. Maybe it's about becoming someone who can remain connected to life even when things don't go according to the plan. Someone who can experience joy without needing everything to be perfect. Someone who can experience sadness without believing that sadness is their entire identity. Someone who can want more without making what they already have meaningless. And maybe you don't need a completely different life to experience more happiness. Maybe you need to stop rushing past the life that's already here. Because life isn't waiting for you somewhere in the future. It's happening here, right now. And perhaps the question isn't, how do I find happiness? Better question is, what have I been too distracted to notice? Because sometimes the light isn't missing. We have simply forgotten to look. And perhaps this is what this space is here to do, to help you come back to your true nature, to remember who you are and what you have forgotten within yourself. And if something in this video made you remember something within you, then subscribe and stay on this journey with me. And remember, you are the light.